Hey everyone, Dan here. We are in the afternoon hours of Monday, June 14th. We're going to take a quick updated look at AMC today. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also feel free to comment below. I'm checking those nightly currently, though it may take me a couple of days to get back because I can get pretty far behind. All right, so there's a few things happening with AMC. First of all, this is the chart that I had put out in my video last Friday, and as you see, all of these price targets and levels as support and resistance that we charted are holding up really, really well. The other really good thing is that I had only charted up to this 56.24 level, and we're well beyond that at this point. So I wanted to put out some new price areas to look at, some targets to play, and then I wanted to sort of explain the strong possibility, the increasingly strong possibility of a gamma squeeze coming up. This is in addition to or above and beyond to the short squeeze or short squeezes that we may see down the line as well. And to that end, we'll take a look at a select portion of the short data because I don't want to go over everything because we just did that and a bunch of it is still the same as it was on Friday. So first things first, let's take a look at some upper price targets. So I think a couple of things are happening. One, we're definitely in this nice upward channel. And so I'll turn this green. So until this breaks, and this could break at any time, but it has tested this bottom bound a couple of times. So it's not a standalone bottom bound, even here in the pre-market. So it's been a very good channel so far. And this is just for folks who are looking to potentially find additional places to buy AMC. This provides that in the way of looking for price strength toward the bottom of the channel. You'll be looking for it to bounce off the bottom of the channel, assuming that it will hold again until it breaks. And that could give you a dip buy opportunity if it's showing price strength at the bottom of the channel, like you saw there, like you saw there, like you saw there. But always pay attention to what it's doing because it doesn't have to hold the channel. And at some point, the channel will go completely bust, even if this stays in this channel for 50 days. It'll still break at some point. So just know at some point you'll try to dip buy at the bottom and it won't work out and it'll keep going down. So there's an opportunity. And beyond that, some additional just sort of like strong support and resistance zones that I would look at would be right about here and right about here. And again, the way that I play these, and I for full disclosure, I took a new position in AMC today. So I held all the positions that I already have, and then I added a new position today with another broker because you never know what's going to happen. So I like to spread mine out over various brokers. But I took it on the dip down, or the price strength that was being shown here this morning. As it was clearly bouncing off of this 52-59 zone that we had charted on Friday. But in any case, what I'm saying is the way that you can use these zones for dip buying opportunities is just like you're seeing here. So let's say you see the price going up and you're waiting for AMC to show some price strength because you're worried that with this sell-off here that it might continue down. So you see that it finds some strength and it goes up and it goes past a couple of price targets and you're waiting for a little bit of a dip to get into. So it bounces off that 58.52 level and starts to come down toward 57.02. So as it starts to approach 57.02, that's your opportunity to dip buy because you're assuming that that is a strong demand zone, that it'll get bought up there. And so you're buying into price strength, which is a concept that I try to reiterate a lot here. It's a way to buy a dip, but in the broader context of price strength. So that's what I looked for in those upper price targets. That's how I took my position today. And these are the ones that I would look for in the coming day or days, depending on how long we stay in a bullish pattern here. On the indicator side of things, just to round out our charting, just midline on the RSI, which is crazy because it's a really nice push up today. But so to be just about 50, just a little bit over 50 on the RSI gives it a ton of ability for buying pressure to come in. MACD looks like it's finishing off a slightly bearish momentum, downswing, and bullish crossover looks like it's coming into play, and has plenty of room to run back up with the MACD line coming down pretty close to the baseline at this moment. So that's what I would look for. A great volume today. Great just momentum for almost all of the day. Now, let's talk about some of this short data, and then I'll get into the gamma squeeze stuff and why I see that sort of really, really heating up as today has gone on. So quick look, this is just a reminder. Probably nobody that's watching this video is super doubtful of this, but just in case you are, the shorts are still obviously continuing to come in, or probably more likely what's happening is they're coming in and out. So, I could see the potential that shorts are closing positions as this was rising today, potentially helping boost that rise today. And then when they see it top out and some retail or some other institutions start taking profit, then they pile on and take a new short position, maybe around here, and help push it down by artificially throwing, supply in quotes into the market and pushing the price down. So I think that's what's continuing to happen. It's not that these shorts are holding their positions for months and months and months. It's that they close out, which causes all these like mini squeezes along the way. But then all that they do is like minute by minute or hour by hour, they're just looking to turn around and reshort, at whatever the peak of the day is. So I think that that's just what's continuing to happen. But if we see short shares prior month at the end of April, just call it 87 million, short end of May, 102 million. So that's a pretty big increase. 15 million shares additional coming in to short AMC. So obviously they're still ramping things up. Support above that is the short volume ratio that we do get data on day to day. And so this came in from last Friday, is obviously the most up-to-date close of day that we have, close of market day that we have. And this being in the 20s is high. 20s is definitely high. Teens is like, okay, a little bit on the abnormal side. 30s is bananas. So if we see jumps into the 30s, just know that that's additionally bananas. And I wouldn't be surprised as the likelihood for a gamma squeeze increases if you see more shorts piling on, because a bunch of the gamma squeeze that may be caused and may sort of be effectuated through some of these institutions that have to hedge against the shorts, not the short selling that they're doing, but their short positioning by underwriting a call option that's bought or that's made available. Them having that short position and having to cover it, if they don't want to have to do that, it might give them additional reasons to heavily short AMC in order to drive the stock price down so that there isn't a gamma squeeze that plays out. So I'd be very cautious around this period of gamma squeeze, that there aren't a bunch of shorts flooding into the market in order to try to prevent that from happening. So we'll look for this short volume ratio. We'll see if it starts to creep up into the mid-high 20s. And if it breaks above 30, again, that's sort of like bonkers territory. The fee on AMC has like rarely been that high. So, even over here it was 131, 141%, which is high, but, it's not a main driver at this point. It's stayed pretty low for quite some time. But basically here I wanted to just look at this to, again, supportively show as we open the day today, last Friday, there was 1.3 million. So 1 million of those shares came out and were lent out just by Interactive Brokers. So just by one of the broker dealers that people could be borrowing from, people or institutions could be borrowing from in order to short sell them into the market. So there was a bunch of shorting that flooded the market this morning, but then you see a bunch started to close by 10 a.m., a bunch more started to close through 11, and then some folks retook positions again right after the midday. So taking a look at how that played out here, a bunch of shorts flooded the market. Some started to close positions around 10 a.m., more started to close around 11 a.m., and this is exactly, and then right around here, around midday, or around, say, 12:15, some more started to come out. So here we just see 50K come out, but then another 50K and then another 50K. And so, but again, spread that out over several broker dealers, and you have additional shorts pouring in right around this time frame here. So they may start to really feel the squeeze if they didn't take profits already down here, which could have easily happened. They may start to feel the squeeze if the price runs back up to that 59.65 level, and especially if it gets support there. It'll be interesting to see what it does here, because it's already topped out once and twice here. So are we going to top out a third time at this level? We'll know here in a few minutes. But in any case, just know that the shorts are continuing to flood in and flood out, and I guess flood in and then close. And so that's a big piece of these swings that you're seeing. You can just line them up very easily by looking at the 15-minute data. Things that are blind spots that I'm still waiting for is the second half of May. These fails to deliver give us really good insight into the potential for naked shorting to be happening, some evidence of naked shorting coming in, not just speculation. And here you can see the first half of May data. I'm mostly interested in all of this time frame. All of these ones that are in the millions, that's an incredibly high amount of fails to deliver on any given day. And these are when the price was way down at $9, low teens. Well, I guess not even teens, low double digits, we'll say. So, I mean, that number could have increased significantly since the price has increased so much, but that'll be interesting to see, and it should be coming very, very soon, because at this point it's already a solid 2 weeks out of date. So I'm waiting for that any day. I keep refreshing. So to the gamma squeeze. So obviously what's happening here is the price is getting pushed up. Let's just draw this out a little bit more. Here's the 5-day look. So today, AMC peaked well above where it was in this 5-day look, and is rivaling basically where it was on June 8th. Okay, as you see there, topping out just about the same spot. So that's going to be clearly another spot that you're going to want to watch very closely, because it could very easily top out there again. What I would say is, if there's an opportunity, if you wanted to buy into price strength as it establishes, say, high 60s or $61 support, that would be a great opportunity as it blows past here and then pulls back a little bit into that 60.69 zone. That could be a really great opportunity, because there should be incredibly strong support there. So that would be the goal, but obviously do your own, research, do your own TA, figure out what's happening in the moment to make your own decision. But as this price is getting higher and higher and higher, and is getting more and more sort of out of control from the market maker's perspective, it probably doesn't feel like they have a ton of control in many times with AMC. The options chains that are being offered, right now the calls are stretching up to the 145s. And so as market makers have to make those options available, as the price and gamma increases in these out of the money call options, they're going to be more and more apt to continue to hedge against having to underwrite these calls to make them available, since that's their job. And they're going to be buying up blocks of shares in order to turn those into covered call positions, and hedge against the fact that those go into the money and that they have to hand them over to someone when the expiration date passes. So as we see pushes into, especially, we see these gammas getting very, very high here, all the way through the 70s, basically, even into some of the lower 80s. And that's going to just put so much pressure on those, and the open interest very, very high, and the implied volatility being so high is what's really going to put the risk management kind of in a wacky, tumultuous place, where you may see some frantic buying off of blocks of shares to hedge against those underwritten positions, those underwritten call options that they've sold, and that's what could set off a gamma squeeze, because there's just buying and buying and buying and buying and buying in big blocks by market makers who have underwritten these call options that are getting closer and closer and closer to in the money and getting more and more risky as the implied volatility goes up, and you don't know if tomorrow AMC is just going to double, right? And it's just going to be $118 tomorrow. That could absolutely happen. We've seen it, doubling or near doubling in very, very recent history. So that's why I think right around this $60, $65 price point, especially if we get support at that 60.69 that we see here and start to build off that tomorrow, I think that could be an enormous trigger that could send the stock like sailing, skyrocketing because of all of the hedging against underwritten call options by these institutions and money makers who have sold those. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. That's sort of like my price target right now. Is most important to get support at that 60.69, but we have a couple of levels to tick off as we get there, 58.52 and 59.65. So we'll see how the day turns out as we go through and what tomorrow brings. But we are certainly, from this run up here, in strong gamma squeeze territory. And I think a bunch of these were mini short squeezes like we talked about before. So I think as those continue to pile on, one is going to feed the other. Retail is going to continue to have the hype train, so it seems. And it's just going to be a really interesting thing to play out. Me who's been looking at these things for a long time and has been playing the stock market for a long time, this is just such a unique period. And like, I'm excited for a lot of reasons, one of which is just at the sheer intrigue of the weirdness of the situation and all of the different factors that are coming into play and how they will roll out over time. It's going to be really interesting to see. All right, well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck this week, and I will see you in the next video.